Hey everyone, I'm Ray and welcome back to another Sims 3 speed build video. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, so I apologize if you really like speed builds and I haven't posted one in a super long time. Sometimes I don't feel like building, and when I'm in that type of mood, I don't like to build. I feel like my builds, you can tell that I'm not into it when I'm not into it. But this was actually really fun. It was a fun, refreshing thing to come back into this. I'm building this house for Lukis and Omar in my Adventure Sim challenge. I said I was just gonna build them a brand new house because if you didn't know, I completely rehauled my CC very recently, meaning I deleted most of it. So that's a thing. And actually my game's running like butter, so building this was really, really fun because it wasn't hanging up on me every time. So this was actually a really fun process to get into it. It'll probably make me want to build more often if my game doesn't take 30 hours to do anything. But this is me building them a brand new house. Now it's just sort of like a regular, I suppose, suburban style house. I've always said I'm never qualified to tell anybody how to build anything because 90% of the time I'm winging it. Yeah, don't let these speed builds fool you. This is sped up to like 5.5 times the speed. This took me forever to do, and spoiler alert, it's not going to be the only video of this build that I'm gonna post because yeah, I'm not done at the point of recording this. And I will always tell people, if you ever want to know a tip from me on building, build from a reference. If you don't do that, do it, because that's what I'm doing. I'll put the references at the end of this video actually if you want to see. Go on Google, type something in. That's how I get the ideas that I want, and at some point I go off of the reference. Like right now, building the back of the house is one of those prime examples because most of the references I have are for like the front of a house or the front facing of a house, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with the back, so I'm completely winging it when I get to the back of a house. Hence why they tend to look a lot worse, but that's a whole different story. Just build from a reference, and I guarantee you, you'll make your life easier. You don't have to think as hard, and I do end up eventually kind of going off the grid with references. They are there for inspiration and not really to like guide me completely through. It's like I start by copying a reference, and then eventually I just start doing my own thing, and the build takes a life of whatever I feel like doing at the time. So that's always my advice. I also like to do what I'm doing right now, which is putting a basement into a build before, and don't ask what's going on here with the white floor and the craziness. This is me rationalizing in my brain how to put a foundation down, because I've experienced several problems with foundations where if you wanted to build a basement and put stairs in the foundation, the game, it hates it. It absolutely despises you doing that. So I kind of mapped out the layout, then put this white tile down to show me where it's supposed to be, and then I built the foundation over top of that. I'm also using the constrained floor elevation cheats here to do an attached garage. If you've never done that, that's typically how I do it. Probably not the only way to do it, but I'm normally using constrained floor elevations. That is a fun cheat, but a dangerous one if you've never experimented with it before, because it's very easy to screw up something and not realize it's messed up. You'll actually see that quite a bit in this build. I'm playing around with that cheat a little bit in this one, and it comes back to bite me a little bit. But it's an attached garage, basically a normal suburban-y style type of house. I don't know, I didn't want to build anything too complicated, but I did just, you know, want to ease into building for a while. It's been some time. The insides of my houses are complete winging it, so I apologize already. You will see a lot of back and forth going through here. I'm not sure if people enjoy that or if you'd prefer me to cut that out, but these speed builds, like, don't let them fool you. I'm not kidding you. These are sped up to all heckin' back. I was sitting here for hours doing this and have no idea what I'm doing most of the time. It is mostly me. Do I like this? No, I don't like that. I'm gonna change this. So please forgive especially the interiors. I fight with the interiors of what I'm doing all the time, and I'm pretty sure none of the layouts I come up with make any type of sense. It's mostly me just trying to fit the necessities into the house that I know the Sims need. I am in no way any type of architect or a person who can tell you the best way to lay out a house. What I do probably makes no sense whatsoever to somebody who actually understands it. It's just me trying to fit in builds where I can. Like right now, I'm trying to figure out if I could fit in a bedroom and like an office down here, and I think I end up just making like the master bedroom down here on the first floor with like a big attached bathroom. At least that's what it's supposed to be. not done at this point. Mentioned that, yeah, this house is still very much unfinished. No decorations on the inside, not even wallpaper on the inside yet. And I've already got 3 hours of footage that I have to go ahead and make into a speed build. So yeah, this is a long process. Building takes me a while, but I end up just kind of going with that, just the 1 bedroom and a bathroom. And oh my gosh, this garage, me and this garage, we were gonna have words before the end of this build. I frustrated myself so much trying to do something with this garage. It's mostly with the roof. We'll get there. We'll get there. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead in the video here. Just flashbacks right now of doing this build, watching this footage right now to do this commentary, and I am having flashbacks. It can get rough when I'm working with roofs, especially when I'm trying to do like a weird shape, kind of like what's going on right now. And again, at this point, I'm likely still using my reference and judging, at least for the front of the house, trying to replicate what's going on with the front of the house using this reference and trying to see how I could get that done in the game the best way possible. But the back, all winging it. I have no idea what to do with the back, which is why a lot of the times I feel like the backs of the houses that I do get more boxy almost more simple, because I don't really have any type of reference to go off of. So the backs of houses that I build, I do find they end up sort of you can tell that I didn't know what to do with the back of the house. Luckily it's the back of the house, so hopefully, not a lot of people are going to be looking at it. That would be a plus. But the roof, we're getting into the roof. Now this roof, me and this roof were gonna fight in a field before I was done with this, and it was all my fault. I did it, all right? I was playing with constrained floor elevations and I shouldn't have. It's starting right about now, where I decided I was gonna try to do this like weird bumped up elevated like part of one side of the garage, because it's like a 2-door garage there, and then the other side wasn't gonna do that. But because the way the floors work in The Sims 3, it like morphs the ground and makes it sink inward, and so I was trying to like hide that using the roof, and oh my gosh, I fought this roof so many times. I did and undid and redid and undid, and I think I left it in the video here, so you'll be able to see it. So if you're ever curious, no, I don't know what I'm doing the first go around. It is normally a pain to try to work through sometimes. And it looks like the garage had it's like a big forehead or something. I don't even know how else to explain it. Like the garage, I didn't even really like what I did. I end up basically almost undoing the whole thing by the end of the video, but it doesn't mean I didn't fight with it for like an hour and a half trying to make it work before I got there. So yeah, sorry for the back and forth you're gonna see on that, because we're not done touching that roof. We're gonna come back to that. But again, I was adding an extra little box up at the top, just trying to get a different shape to the roof of the house, because sometimes I do feel like the builds are looking a little boxy. So sometimes adding just maybe like a little bit of elevation in certain places to try to spice it up a little bit would work. Except for this, because this was also a pain in the butt. I didn't know what I was doing. Trial and error, a lot of trial and error, especially with these parts of the build. I was trying to figure out if I wanted to do like a decoration coming out the back, because especially the back, I always complain about the back. The backs of my builds always feel like they're so underdone in comparison to like the fronts, because I really have no idea what to do in the back. And I could look up references for like backs of houses, but what's the fun in that? You just wing it. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Just wing it. That's how I do it. That's how I've always done it. And they're decent, not the best, but I never claimed to be the best. Just passable. We're just trying to get passable here. I struggle with liking this part of the roof, this like bumped up part, but I refuse to undo it. So yeah, I think I end up making it work with like an extended part and sort of trying to blend it into the part of the roof that's already there, and then purging it down to the size that I liked. But really I was just playing around, trying to get some different looks, and that's constrained floor elevation. That's what I meant. If you use that cheat, look out for it, because whenever you're messing with walls, it's gonna kind of mess up the elevation on you, and it can get a little messy trying to fix that later on in a build. If you notice it towards the end of a build, which I have done a dozen times, it can be a huge hassle to try to fix that floor when it's not on the right level, because if you had something else going on in terms of already starting to decorate your house when you realize it, oof, man, it is not fun trying to fix that. The rest of this part was not too bad. Like, oh, except for the part in the front. I did fight this part of the roof here too. Me and this roof, I'm telling you, man, this roof is gonna probably plague my nightmares, because I don't know why. The house itself, it's not that bad. Like, the house itself is not that oddly shaped, but I don't know what was going on with me and the roofs. It's been too long. I'm just rusty. I could not, for the life of me, figure out how to make this roof work. And right now I'm recognizing there's a problem with the constrained floor thing. The garage door is like morphed into the wall, and it shouldn't be that way. So again, my recommendation, the constrained floor elevation sheet is fun. Play around with it if you're brave, but just don't pay attention. Just make sure that if something's going on with your walls, that you're keeping an eye out, that something's not sitting right, because it will probably end up being a bigger thing to try to fix later if you're trying to decorate at the time. So this front part of the front porch, again, I fought this roof so much. I don't know what was going on with me through this. I really don't. I could not, for the life of me, get this roof to work the way I wanted. I ended up just going back to what I just did there. So I just did something that I think is the final result I stay with. But before I decided that that was going to be the final result, I tried like 87 different things, like so many different things. This is a normal way that I build, by the way. It's complete chaos. I've built a couple times on stream, and from references, depending on how simple it is, it's a little easier. But yeah, welcome to my brain. It's normally not sane, which is hence why I say that I don't do, I'm not qualified to tell anybody how to build something. I can give you tips that I use, but I can't tell you how. Sorry if you can hear my dog snoring, by the way. She's asleep right next to me. I'm recording this at night. She's so cute, but she's snoring extremely loudly. Still working with the roof. This part is pretty easy. One of the things which I don't think it impacts the build, I haven't play tested this though. I'm also sorry if you can hear the trains. The trains, they haunt me. At this point, I'm in the middle of recording, so we're going through it. But if you can hear trains, I talk about how they blare their horns right when I'm recording, and that's happening right now. So I am sorry if you can hear them, because it is so loud, but I'm like 12 minutes into this recording and I'm not stopping. Yeah, so still fighting this roof, but I think, and I haven't play tested this yet, and we'll get there because we'll be play testing this with the Adventure Sim Challenge when we get the family moved in. But I'm pretty sure as long as you just delete the walls that this builds when you kind of bleed the roof through the wall, that you're fine. And I'll do that, I think, by the end of this video. This is like part 1, by the way. I decided to break this speed build up a couple times because this is already like 20 minutes long, and it's only the first time I sat down to record, and I got about maybe 3 or 4 hours of footage, and I'm not even decorating it yet. Yay! I love building in The Sims 3. I really do. That wasn't me being sarcastic. I actually like it. It takes forever, but it's always satisfying at the end when you get a cool looking house that I play with for like one time, and then I'm like, I'm building a new one. That's just the way I normally work. But building that roof like I just did straight through the wall, it's gonna end up putting a wall inside your house. So be wary of that if you do what I just did. Just go in and delete it. I also hate circular roofs. I don't really build circular style builds a lot because of that. I struggle putting roofs on square builds, so something in a circle just makes my brain hurt even more. I'm pretty sure at some point, and it might be done later when I'm starting to do the actual wallpapering of the outside, which will be in the next video because this is already too long and I'm trying to cut down on how long the videos are. Tell me what you prefer though. If you prefer that I give you a massive speed build video all at once, I can do that. It would be very long, but I can do that. But for now, I'm just gonna break this one up into pieces and try to talk a little bit more through it, which is a little easier when there's less to talk over. But I was just deleting walls on the inside there that were left by the roofs, and we're going back. I told you we weren't done with this. This is round 2 with this garage roof because I didn't like the way it looked, and I was like, I'm gonna shrink it down some because it didn't fit, and I wanted it to be shorter because it kind of looked, like I said, like a big forehead, like the garage had a big forehead or something, and I didn't even know what I was gonna put on that because I can't put windows there, so I ended up shortening it, but then I still ended up disliking the way that it was looking in comparison to the wall next to it. So I go about struggling with this part of the roof for some time, actually. I tried to come up with a way that I liked it to look, and I end up, I think, taking a lot of this down. It changes by the end of this. It doesn't look exactly like this. I don't end up sticking with this at all, but I change my builds a lot normally, and that's just something that I do. Another tip, if you're ever interested, don't be afraid to tear down what you've done. This is actually the 3rd time I sat down to try to build something that I liked for them. I built a entire like shell of a house and absolutely hated it when I came back, so I just bulldozed it and started over, which I do a lot. I'm not saying that you should, it's just, if you do, then it's fine. I mean, it's a lot of times your 2nd or 3rd go at something ends up being a better look than what you originally had intended to do anyway. It's just extremely time consuming. So something that I had to sit down and spend time doing and then not dislike, and then disliking it later is, it can be a hassle when you spent 5 hours doing something and didn't like it. Luckily the other one was just a shell and it was simpler than this one and I didn't like it, so it was fine. I like this one better, so you get what you get. But at this point, I went through all this hassle with this roof to make it so that that one wall was touching the other side. And I like this a little bit better. But at some point, I decided that I was going to take that one part of the roof out, and I deleted it. That right there, I deleted it. And then when I tried to backspace it, it was putting it back at the full height instead of the lowered height. I was so mad. I'm sorry, I told you, me and this roof, we were gonna fight in the field. I was so mad. I was like, why? Because to fix this and make it like sit flush against the other wall, I had to go through what I'm doing right now, which was recombobulating the floor back over there to the side and then putting the roof back and then like deleting and fixing the walls. It was very frustrating, and I was very upset at myself for doing what I did and then deciding that I didn't like it, and then I still end up changing the whole thing at the end. So welcome to my world of fighting with what you think you want and then deciding that, nah, I don't like that, and then purging it away and just throwing out the hour and a half you spent trying to make it work. It's fine. Got a cool looking house in the end, so we're not going to complain. I basically end up getting rid of this roof the way it is still because I still didn't like it, and I pulled the garage back, I think by 1. Is this a block? This is not Minecraft. Pulling it back by like 1 square? Yes, 1 square. Is that what those are called? In The Sims, why don't I know what the measurements of this game are called? The square. I pulled it back by like 1 square thingy. Is that what you call them in this game? Why don't I know this? I feel like this is a word I should know, but I want to call it a block, but this is not Minecraft. I just got through playing Minecraft a couple minutes ago, and apparently it's a bad idea to record it. But I end up going with this roof that I just put on there, which sort of just almost makes it look like it's built into the side of the wall. And then I get rid of that lip that's there. I just pull the entire garage back because I just didn't like the way it looked at all. So I was trying to make the edge blend a bit more because sometimes the straight roof like that can be a little harsh, but I just end up deciding to just retract the whole garage back a step instead. But that's basically the gist of getting the shell down packed. It was a bit of a time. It always is when I'm building something though, because I don't know what I'm getting myself into till I get into it. But this is just the shell for now. I'm gonna break this up, like I said. When we come back for the next part of the speed build on this house, we'll do some more of the exterior and some more of the terrain on the outside. But hope you liked it. So thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, then please give it a like or don't. that's up to you. But I do hope that you'll come back and join me for more Sims 3 speed builds here on the channel. Thanks all. Bye-bye.